themselves carried out searches of those vessels and in fact screened each and every individual board. How do you explain this discrepancy between positions of Israel and Turkey?
With all due respect to the Turks, you can see from the pictures that they use knives, iron big sticks, and try to put the life of the soldier in danger. And again, ask yourself why it didn't happen in the other 5 ships, and the answer is very clear. No violation in the other 5 ships, only in this 6th one. So this is the only place in which the soldiers had to use their capabilities to defend themselves. And ask yourself why it happened only in this one and not in the others, and you have the answer. In this ship, they prepared the violation against the soldiers, and the soldiers were in a situation in which they have to defend their life. And everyone in Israel regret about the results, but we know for sure that the soldiers on the board didn't have any other choice. About the remark of my English colleague, with all due respect, he is lack the knowledge about the international law. The international law allows a state to declare naval blockade, and when a civilian ship is entering to the area of the naval blockade, it should be got orders from the Navy forces who are responsible for this area. They have to allow soldiers to go for a research on the ship. There are procedures in the international law. In this case, Israel went through all the procedures, and with all due respect, he has to go back to understand what was the situation in the Mediterranean according to the international law, and to understand that he misunderstood the situation, with all due respect.
Jacob Amador, you mentioned the phrase international law, but this attack took place in international waters, which would be an abrogation of that international law.
No, you are not right. In international waters, a state can declare what's called in the legal system a naval blockade, and during a naval blockade, which was pre-announced, it's not a surprise to the ship. If a ship decide to go through the blockade, it's to get permission, and should give the military forces to make research on the board. And with all due respect, it happened all around the world. It happened in Cuba in '62, and you know what was the results? The Russians knew unlike these people, they obeyed the international law, and they went away, because there is a way that military naval forces can research ships on the international water by giving pre-announcement that there is a situation of naval blockade, going gradually pre-announce to the ships that if you will not be stopped, they will be violated, and so on and so forth. And the Navy, the Israeli Navy, with all our regret to the results, went through the regulations.
Well, Mike, could I just step in there,
from the international point of view,
I don't like to be lectured by an Israeli about international law. I mean, why not look at the occupation if you believe in international law, sir?
Be please a little bit British. Try to be polite. According to international law, there is a right to the Israeli Navy to make the research.
Well, you're saying you legally killed 16 people, and you're very happy with that. It's obeying international law in your terms.
You are happy with that. We are not happy with that. We regret about it. No one in Israel say that he is happy. Don't put words in our mouths, and please be polite, and don't use this opportunity to put in the Israeli mouths things that they didn't say. We really regret about the results.
Well, leaving aside the arguments about international law, the incident has sparked intense international reaction. United Nations Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon said he was shocked. The European Union has demanded a full inquiry. The Arab League strongly condemned what it called a terrorist act. And France said nothing can justify such violence. Spain, Sweden, Denmark and Greece have formally called in Israeli ambassadors to say the raid was unacceptable. And Russia has called it a crude violation of international law. As we mentioned before, Turkey has long been an ally of Israel, But relations between the two turned sour after the Israeli offensive on Gaza in December 2008. Turkey immediately stopped moderating indirect peace talks between Israel and Syria. Then at the 2009 World Economic Forum in Davos, Turkish Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan walked out of a discussion concerning Israel's conduct in Gaza. Turkey also excluded Israel at the last minute from a joint military exercise in October last year. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu denounced the move and said it called into question whether Turkey could be an honest broker in any peace talks. Earlier this year, Israel publicly humiliated Ankara's ambassador over a Turkish television drama that it claimed portrayed Israelis in a bad light. Israel then formally apologized after Turkey threatened to recall its ambassador from Tel Aviv. Let's go to Mustafa Akyol in Istanbul. This, a massive dent in Israeli-Turkish relations. How great is it?
It is huge. First of all, I would like to say a few things. The people on the ship, they had no weapons, as you can see on the footage. They had no firearms. They had just a few sticks to probably protect them. And yes, they were probably expecting an attack from the Israeli army, and that attack came. And when you see commandos landing on your ship with rifles, you perceive it as an attack. And they, as civilians who just had sticks in their arms, in their hands, tried to protect themselves, but they were in return massacred by Israeli commandos. So that's what happened, and I condemn this, and I think my nation condemns this. You can see this right now outside of the streets. Turkey is infuriated, and first of all, the people on the ship did not recognize the legitimacy of Israeli blockade on Gaza. Israel says it is allowing enough food and humanitarian stuff into Gaza, but the UN denies that, and the people on the ship did not trust Israel. They did not trust that if they gave the humanitarian material, they did not trust that it would go in there. So they wanted to bring it themselves. They did not accept Israeli claims to have a right to put blockade on Gaza. They were idealists. They tried to break this. They paid this with their lives. The Turkish nation will always remember them as honorable people who believed in justice. And right now, Turkey is really infuriated, and we are not really buying into this Israeli line that Israel did all its best. It was not just a search, it was a clear attack. Commandos landing down from a helicopter on a ship. And the people on the ship considered it as an attack. They tried to defend themselves, and they died. And Turkey will never forget this, and the dent in Turkish-Israeli relationship will unfortunately get deeper and deeper. I believe that Turkish and Israeli relations is important, that Turkey can be a mediator in the Middle East, but Israel is just not allowing Turkey to have that edge with all its defiant position, which doesn't recognize anything about international law, which never finds a fault in Israel. I mean, I have never seen any Israeli spokesman say